Hello everyone, and welcome to my Duel Today official news channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The spoilers for Monday, February 12th's episode of Days of Our Lives, Lonnie calls home before Paulina's horror. Chad's ominous message state that Chad DiMera and Julie Williams discovered the Horton living room on fire. Chad then threatened to phone 911 and urged Julie to get the kids out of the house. When Julie learned Chad was still inside the house, attempting to use the fire extinguisher, she realized she was securely across the street with Doug Williams, Thomas DiMera, and Charlotte DiMera. Julie made sure that everything worked out by running back in and persuading Chad to go with her. Julie sobbed as firefighters battled to preserve the house, lamenting the loss of half of her life. While Chad comforted the children that their toys would be replaced, he also had to deal with the loss of old pictures of Abigail DiMera, Marcy Miller. Eventually, Chad received a call, and in the distorted voice he heard, it was suggested that perhaps he should listen the next time. Trip Johnson noticed Stephen DiMera at the bistro on Monday's episode of Days and said that he was dressed this time. However, Ava Vitale cautioned her son not to discuss the incident. Following that, Ava contacted Trip in a panic after discovering Harris Michaels bleeding on the loading dock. Trip dashed outdoors to assist Harris, who was bleeding from both his left arm and chest. As soon as Wendy Shin showed up, she called 911 to report Harris's condition. Ava once whispered something about how this wasn't supposed to happen, but when Stefan heard and inquired as to what it meant, she dismissed the remark. Trip had to shock Harris's heart to regain his pulse once EMTs arrived to assist. After Harris was finally taken to the hospital by ambulance, Trip talked to Kayla Johnson, Mary Beth Evans, on the phone, worried about all the blood loss. Jada Hunter had to go look into another shooting at the pub, but Rafe Hernandez and Jada Hunter received updates on Harris's suffering in the interim. On Monday's episode of Days, Kate Roberts Brady retaliated against the intruder in Harris's apartment, apparently hitting him in the shoulder before he fled. They were safe and undamaged as they told Josh Taylor's character, Roman Brady, everything that had just happened. Lucas Horton was happy and appreciative that Kate had spoken up for them. When Lucas revealed that Harris's apartment had served as his safe haven the entire time, Jada was taken aback. After learning all the specifics of what transpired, Jada concurred that Lucas need to spend the time being with Kate and Roman. Chanel Dupree demanded a girls' night out before her surgery at Paulina Price's apartment on Monday's DOL episode. She also brought bags filled with all of Paulina's favorite items. When Lonnie Price Grant called Paulina at her incarceration, Paulina was happy to hear from Lonnie, who provided prayers and a motivational speech before her mother's surgery. In the following episode of Days, Mayor Price was shocked to get a second call regarding Harris's predicament. Paulina attempted to remind Chanel of what to do in the event that her surgery went wrong, realizing that you never know when your time was running out. Paulina gave in and told her daughter that Chanel wouldn't allow her to talk like Way, promising to be around for a very long time. According to Teasers for Days of Our Lives, Paulina will be getting some surprises at the hospital, so stay tuned. Clyde's retaliation, Nicole's kidnapping in Rome, does EJ turn to Stefan for assistance? According to spoilers for Days of Our Lives, Clyde Weston has suffered a multi-million-dollar setback. In a significant narcotics bust, Clyde also lost one of his direct source dealers. Clyde will want retribution. Clyde may choose to employ an unexpected person in order to convey a clear message. Is it feasible that Clyde will kidnap Nicole Walker DiMera in Rome in order to put pressure on EJ DiMera? It's probable that EJ will have to ask his brother and adversary for assistance. Harris Michaels appeared to doubt the officer's testimony, despite the fact that she was shaken. It was ultimately declared to have been a clean shooting. That seems a little too soon, but let's move on. This is a soap opera, not real life. Clyde Weston's finding. At Statesville Prison, Chad DiMera and Everett Lynch had a conversation with Clyde. Clyde was told by Everett and Chad that his collapse would begin with a large-scale narcotics bust. The antagonist was caught off guard. Actually, Chad and Everett discussed how Clyde lost a few $1,000,000 as a result of that lucrative narcotics bust. Harris had stated that Clyde would demand retribution at that point. Rafe Hernandez acknowledged Harris's worry. Days of Our Lives spoilers indicate that EJ DiMera will boast to Stephen DiMera on the week of February 5th. EJ will make fun of Stefan and cheerfully predict that he will spend a very long time behind bars. These kinds of last remarks, nevertheless, typically refer back to the characters in soap operas. Clyde might go directly to the top, the Salem district attorney, in order to provide a very clear message. Stefan DiMera's atonement. Is it feasible that Clyde will attack someone he loves in order to convey a message to EJ? Fans have already conjectured that Clyde may aim after Chanel Dupree and Johnny DiMera. But could it be that Nicole has been abducted by Clyde in Rome? Clyde might insist that EJ take part in the drug trafficking scheme in return for Nicole's secure release. Naturally, Clyde would need some kind of leverage to keep EJ in check. Eventually, EJ would have to ask Stefan for assistance out of desperation. But given that EJ turned away from his brother prior to Holly Jonas' overdose, the character might be faced with a difficult moral choice. Alternatively, the competing brothers could come to an agreement and end their long-standing conflict. While Tripp tries to save Harris's life, Chad fights the Horton house fire. A beaming Chanel arrives home with loads of goods for a girls' night the night before Paulina has surgery. Paulina gives an eye roll. Chanel says they'll play games, watch movies, and eat pizza before midnight because of the procedure, unfazed by her mother's contempt. As Lonnie calls, they decide to watch Bad Boys. Harris is injured in the shoulder by a retaliatory gunshot after the gunman opens fire on Lucas and Kate in the Harris room. He runs away. Kate watches him from the door, her gun out, unharmed. She checks on Lucas, who appears to be okay, while Roman, having heard the bullets, runs in. He tells them to remain where they are, shut the door, and keep out of the windows. Chad and Julie arrive downstairs to discover the Horton house's living room completely engulfed in flames when the fire alarm goes off. While he contacts 911, Chad instructs Julie to get Doug and the children outside. At Tripp and Wendy's table at the bistro, Stefan sits down with Ava. "It's good to see Stefan dressed properly," Tripp quips. Reminding her son that they made a deal to never talk about that night again, Ava walks outside to get some fresh air. In an uneasy tone, Wendy asks, "How about that Super Bowl?" while Stefan remains standing. A startled Ava runs to Harris outside the bistro as he is on the ground gasping for air. His chest oozes blood. She contacts Tripp and tells him to hold on. Doug and Julie, together with Thomas and Charlotte, are sitting outside while smoke wafts. Thomas exclaims, "Daddy," as soon as he realizes Chad is still inside the home. Julie takes off. Roman leaves the scene at the pub and comes back to Kate and Lucas. Lucas expresses gratitude to his mom for saving him. Roman wants to phone Harris, but Kate laughs at him because it was he who gave them the assurance that Lucas was safe. Wendy arrives at the pier, where Tripp attends to Harris while she phones 911. In an attempt to halt the bleeding, Stefan buys towels for Tripp. "This wasn't meant to happen," Ava sobs. What does she mean by that? Stefan wonders. She answers, "Nothing," and then remembers working with Harris in secret after he confessed his love for her. She implores Harris to live. Rafe receives a call regarding the incident at the pub when he and Ava get there. Paulina hopes to be home in time for Chanel's new wedding date after hanging up with Lonnie. Chanel shifts her eyes and grins slightly, maybe. After dinner, Johnny gives Paulina a call while out shopping to wish her well. Paulina queries what makes Johnny the one as they play cards. Chanel said he gives her a sense of empowerment and safety. He is lively, imaginative, and shows her respect. He is both powerful and susceptible. He truly is the complete package. A call concerning Harris reaches Paulina. Chanel advises her to let the deputy mayor handle the problem even if she wants to go to the hospital.